welcome. This is the Market Wrap. I'm Akam Vakil. We are seeing a little bit of weakness for the benchmark indices. Not unexpected though, because a lot of analysts were of the opinion that we would see a little bit of a reaction on the benchmarks after RBI policy. However, what would have come off as a surprise was the benchmarks falling after, especially when we did see a rate cut come through, even though that was on expected lines. But in terms of some of the gainers in today's trade, we had Indiabulls Housing Finance continuing to advance and build on gains. Zee Entertainment and was also up and about, and we're going to talk about that in a little more detail in just a bit. Tata Motors continues to move from strength to strength, now comfortably above the mark of 200 rupees per share, so keep an eye on that one. And some recovery in Hero MotoCorp, Eicher Motors as well. So some of these auto companies are showing a little bit of strength. But the reason behind the weakness is some of the heavyweights which are bearing down on the index. Reliance Industries case in 0.6% decline, and TCS down 3% today. So this possibly is a reason behind the large part of the declines today. But don't forget some of your other counters like Hindalco, BPCL, IndusInd Bank also have come off quite to an extent. But on the broader markets, well, the picture isn't very different. We have about 2 gainers for 3 losers. Orient Cement, Swan Energy, Dishman Carbogen advancing in trade, along with Reliance Home Finance, Lakshmi Vilas Bank and Interglobe Aviation. Repco Home Finance, on the other hand, under pressure, down 6.5%, followed by NCC. Shipping Corporation of India and Naveen Fluorine also were looking at some amount of weakness. But let me get in our market editor, Neeraj Shah, who joins us to give in his perspective. Neeraj, well, we did see the RBI policy play out now, but about a profit taking, would you say?
No other reason that we can think of, to be honest.
Yeah.
The positions were pretty interesting today. Remember, we were talking about this yesterday, Agam, that would the markets be waiting for the policy to be out of the way before they take any concrete decisions? Not that it had a big bearing, just that the currency weakened a bit. But I do not know if this is also a change in stance of what's happening to foreign money, and therefore that weighing in on the markets too. The whole month of March, we've been spoiled by seeing inflows coming in. A first whiff of 1,000 crore sell. We had a number like that for yesterday's trade. If that continues, then you probably know where the sentiment or actual selling is coming in. So I think all eyes would be on that. The fact that IT sold off today is a fairly interesting phenomenon, not that one, and certainly anticipated in the session in a big way. So that is the other interesting bit as well. Let's wait and watch what happens. But this you could attribute to routine profit booking. The only thing is, and you'll hear some maybe technical voices as well, I think most near-term trading experts seem to believe that this will find support at some lower levels, and then the bounce back would resume. I would say let's wait and watch. Let's see what the color of the money is looking like from the foreign side, because the DIIs are certainly not parking in big money to work right now.
Right, fair enough. Well, and yesterday, surprising though, it was a sell number from FIIs too. So we're going to have to watch out for that number as well. But Neeraj, thank you for joining us and getting us that perspective there. So that's as far as your overall picture of the market is concerned. But we've had a very interesting development right now, and this is on Zee Entertainment. And I have, PR Sanjay of Bloomberg News, who's now joining us to give us an update on the same. Sanjay, what's going on here?
So the deal is in the making. And you know that in the previous rounds, Comcast and Sony were interested in taking a stake in Zee Entertainment, but it is not progressed because of some disagreements in valuation. Now what we are hearing is like Reliance Jio and Bharti Airtel both are also considering to submit a bid to pick up a stake, because it would make more sense for both telecom players to own the content. So as you know, the content is the is the game name of the game now. So earlier stance of Bharti was not to own it, but to outsource it to who are best to doing content, and that was their strategy. But the strategy of Reliance was to own it as well. So if that led to Savant's acquisition, Jio Money. There are a lot of strings of acquisition they've made to make it a content worthy to own it. So Bharti is also now thinking in those lines, whether they are exploring if it is coming at a reasonable price, they would want to test waters of Zee at this point of time. And let me tell you, this is all nascent stage, is very preliminary. They are doing internal due diligence to test waters.
Okay, well, nascent stage and testing waters, but Sanjay, thank you for bringing us those details. So it is a very important development considering now you have more suitors with respect to Z Entertainment. So we'll be watching out for that one. It certainly is going to be a very interesting story to be which will play out. And on that note, let's shift focus to perhaps the biggest event for the day, and that is the RBI policy. And I have Shefali Malik, who's joining us to give us an update on the same and possibly take us through how some of these other variables like the rupee and the bond have moved. Shefali, over to you.
Well, there was some amount of disappointment coming in because market was already factoring in about 25 basis points cut. But some were expecting that at least, the RBI will go ahead and change its stance from neutral to accommodative.
Right.
So that did not come in. So some amount of slight disappointment coming in on that front. Also, what's important to note is that I had a word with some of the experts after the policy, why the market, came down slightly. And the rupee weakened. We can see in the chart here, it weakened as much as 1% in today's trade. And also even the bond yield suddenly spiked up when the policy came out.
Right.
So basically some disappointment came in this front, and so basically we had already run up quite a bit as far as the market is concerned.
That is true.
So that was primarily the reason. So some amount of profit booking coming in now that this policy is out of our way. And also what the experts are of the view is that we may see volatility ahead of the election. So nothing, so the policy did not have too much of an impact on it, on the markets. It was just profit booking, and it was in line with the expectations. And in fact, most of the economists are calling this as a very prudent and a practical policy which has come in from the new governor. And as far as the bond market are concerned, so basically there was an announcement with regards to the SLR. So basically 2% can now be taken out from that SLR bucket for the computation of LCR. So that would primarily mean that banks will not have to, borrow that much of additional government securities. So some amount of supply concern coming in there, which is the reason why we saw this kind of reaction on the bond market. But other than that, overall, the policy was in line with the expectations. Some amount of profit booking we've seen, which is the reason why we saw this kind of reaction on the markets.
Okay, well, volatility is what we're expecting going ahead, provided there are elections. Shefali, thank you for joining us and getting us those details. So that's your update on the money markets and the way the RBI policy has, had an impact on not just money markets, but equity markets too. And on that note, it's a wrap on the market wrap. At lots more lined up. Stay tuned to Bloomberg.